Well, the new administration will start in a couple of hours as all roads lead to Eagle Square this morning. But as we talk about the inauguration, what are our expectations and the promises that was made in successive government? Nigerians have always looked back at the action plan and the blueprint and asking you, I mean, you said this, you didn't fulfill on this. Are we going to, for once, hold government accountable based on the promises that was made? That's what we'll be discussing. And to discuss all of this, in the studio with us is Garba Abdullahi. He's the FCT Project Tracking Officer Budget. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much.
Many thanks for joining us on Asa Morning.
You're welcome.
Great. So I think the euphoria, the rain started with it. Like, okay, there's something going to happen today. You know, all eyes are not. Would have been all legs are heading to Eagle Square. All eyes, you know, are there. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a couple of hours from now, will be saying President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, renewed hope. He had a tough campaign. He started this journey with quite a lot of what's the right word? Where people looked at him as an underdog with little possibility to win, in the terms that, yes, it's the Jagaban, but they felt that, okay, they had stronger contenders. He's held so many issues with their... President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure is over, 8 years after. Now the ship is moving on to a new person. What do you think Nigerians' number one singular expectations will be from this new coming administration to set the ball rolling, to set the wheel grinding, you know, for the temperature of the governance from now?
Well, and I will start by saying this. When I was coming this morning, the clouds was so calm and the rain fell in some part of Abuja here. And I just, in myself, I believe that this is a new Nigerian that is coming in.
You think it's washing away the old?
Yes, so I just think that he's just trying to wash away what's our struggle, our suffering, a lot of things that happened at the past. So we believe that and hope that this country is going to have a renewed hope, just the way they say in their campaign promises. But we are trying to look at it in this aspect that, you know, the people which he came with are the same people in the same systems. So what will happen in this new government that is coming in?
Good observation.
So is it going to be difficult for the citizen to assess or hold them accountable or trying to get the people's mandate? Is it going to be very hard? What will be the expectations from people to the government? How do we think we can tackle this? If we're trying to, you know, I would just say we have a lot of work to do as ordinary citizens and the people trying to work in the development aspect. You know, they tried last time and push, but the push wasn't enough. But this time around, we just have to go back and sit down and try to look at the system. What is the gap that was there and how do we bridge that gap at this new government that is coming in, so that it will be beneficial to all citizens at all levels?
Yeah, but the question I ask is, what do you think is the first place they should be tackling? There are people that are looking at the economic problems. Nigeria is in its highest inflation rate in the past 17 years. There are people that are looking at security. They feel security should take precedence, that once everywhere is secure, then we can have a good economic turnout. But, you know, budget, that's you. What do you think
what I think to focus on is poverty eradications.
Okay.
If we are talking of poverty eradication, that includes the youth empowerment, job creations, and if you are talking of all those things, it's because of the budget they bring to the people to work with.
Okay.
That is, if they work for the people, of course, poverty will be eradicated, it will be reduced, then a lot of things will reduce in that aspect. So if there's job creations, if there's youth empowerment, if there is work ongoing, project infrastructure, social amenities, in terms of primary health care, in terms of schools, educations, no strike, a lot of things will reduce automatically. Because if you look around, what causes insecurities and corruptions is lack of access to all these kind of things. Now, there's no job, Somebody will just sit down and idle. So another person will just come that has looted the money. He wants to come and control those people because he has a fund in that atmosphere. You will see that that person will be easily captured with that funding, and that's with that funding that make that person, the other person have. You know, people with corruptions are people with greedy mind that doesn't want development in the countries. So if the budget is being accessible, if there is accountability, if there is transparency in the budgeting aspects, then a lot of things will reduce in that area.
Okay, so your organization, that's the budget.
Yes.
You do a lot of tracking. If you have to appraise this last administration and what the challenges you faced in trying to track budgets to project, what would it be, especially in the FCT?
Well, in my own capacity, the last administration, you know, if you are talking of budget, we track the international spending, we track the federal government spending fund, we track the consistency funds and the consolidated capital fund. So these are budgets that sometimes if I have a budget, 100 million was being budgeted for the construction of road, maybe in Katampen Estate now. So sometimes if I go there, we will not see the project going on there. Or sometimes they may just have abandoned it. So we have a lot of challenges in this aspect. And these are physical projects that we can use to hold the government accountable. But if you look at in the other way around, our lawmakers make this deliberately, putting this funding into empowerment. A lot of fundings as of 2022 has been put into empowerment, because we cannot be able to hold them accountable 100% on that. Okay, somebody will just come, I train 200 people in terms of soft making, maybe youth empowerment in soft making and tailoring.
Machine for them, or they're tailoring.
Yes. So yeah. If they even bought machine for them, we can at least ask around and know the number of machine that they bought. But that is a physical project. So Please go ahead. If they bought machine for them, we can at least ask them, 50 machines was bought for these people, then we will be able to hold them accountable for that. But you are telling people that you trained someone for soft making for just one day, and you give him maybe a stipend of 15,000 or 20,000 for this thing.
And you call it empowerment.
Yes, for empowerment, and maybe like 200 million was being budgeted for it. How do you expect to hold those people accountable? Then it was a very great challenge for us at budgets in FCTA to hold them accountable in that aspect. But majority of our project will track at physical one, maybe construction. So
with all these challenges you're having now, you've had over the years, and that's, I mean, talking about abandoned projects, it's not new in Nigeria. It's something that has been going on for the past, more than 30 years. Yes, abandoned projects, or projects where upfront payments have been paid for contracts, you can't see it. Constituency funds have now become some people's private expenses. And I think one of the problems that we have as a country is that we know the problems.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody is a problem pointer.
Yes.
We know the problems. The shoemaker on the road will tell you the problems. The vulcanizer will tell you what's not working in Nigeria. There's a new administration, and I like the word you use, renewed hope. There are quite a number of people that don't feel that hope is renewed. It's the same people, you know, just a different wine in a new basket, but it's the same people. Now, with all these issues that you've highlighted, especially some of the constraints that you've observed by working in budget, what would be the advice to the incoming government that, look, we should do this, or we should do certain things differently, especially like you pointed out, constituency projects. What would be your advice based on challenges you've seen and the possible solutions? Okay, we can't work contracts like that. We can't do this. You know, what would be your advice in terms of paying contractors up front? You see monumental projects. It takes 10 years, 20 years to finish. A very good example is the second Niger Bridge. Yeah. The second Niger Bridge is a project that had gone on for several years. And sadly, every administration that came in had a budget for that project, had an allocation. Ajakuta Steel Rolling Mill is one I can think of my head. The electricity segment, the discos,
Yes.
You know, there was a story that, you know, they were just shared among cronies and friends, but not necessarily to create the kind of privatization we needed. So what would be some of the solutions you'll be expecting the new administration to explore as ways to mitigate out of Nigeria's chaos?
Well, for me, I may have a very possible and good solution for the country.
Please share.
But for them, I don't know their own solutions that they have for us.
Yeah, but that's what we're asking you. We're not asking them.
So I cannot speak for them, but I will tell them that this is what is expected.
That's what we want to hear, your own opinion.
So one of the solutions we were trying to look in this aspect is that now let me just start by this. The past administration, President Muhammadu Buhari, has been a member of the OGP, and the OGP is an open governance programs for the countries and the world.
Okay, I was going to ask what's OGP. Okay.
Yes. So if the government is open to the citizens, a lot of things will be easy. Maybe you say like in the construction project now, we have a budget of maybe 200 million or 50 million was budgeted for the construction of primary health care in Pape, and we go there, we just see small primary health care there. So we as a citizens, we asked, why is this substandard for this community? Now, if a citizen asks that and was able to get a proper answer, a feedback from the government, it means that there is a change of openness on this government.
Yes.
And a lot of things will change because citizens will be able to give their own opinions on what they want for the government to do for them. But if they budget this kind of money and you are not able to hold or ask anybody's questions, ordinary citizens cannot just go and ask a government question just like that and we have a feedback. Unless people say so and the people working in the government. But shouldn't
the ordinary citizens be able to?
Yes, because of course, that is what I'm saying.
You know why I find it crazy? When it's time for elections, they come and look for us.
For us.
Then when it's time to hold them accountable, we Nigerians feel that we can't speak to our leaders, we can't hold them accountable. But don't you think we should be able to do that?
We should be able to do that, absolutely, because we are the government and they are also the government, because this is a democracy era, and that's why they call need assessments in maybe in terms of preparing budgets. Now, maybe 2024 budget, he will be the one to prepare it, the new government.
Yes.
So I hope and I believe that the things will change for good, not the normal change that we've been talking about.
This is renewed change.
Yes,
this is a renewed change.
Renewed change.
Renewed change. You know, if you are talking of renewed hope, of course there will be change in the hope. So if there is no change, we are still.
There's nothing renewed.
Yes. So if there's a new need assessment in maybe in the local communities, like because these are people that are mostly marginalized.
Absolutely.
You go down to these places to campaign for them. Still go down to them, ask them what do they need. Or let them write to you, this is what we need. If they need road, give them road instead of water. If they need water, give them water instead of road. If they need a hospital, give them instead of street lights. But most times people don't, our leaders don't even think of this. Just sit down and you spend and budget something for social community, which they don't even want.
Okay, so I have two questions in one. First of all, you just mentioned how there should be needs assessment, and there is supposed to be the constituency town halls with your representatives.
Yes.
So how do we ensure that those town hall meetings indeed take place so that the citizens now would have a say as to what they really need in their communities? And the second phase of my question is, very often these contracts are awarded, project contracts are awarded to companies, to organizations. So what happens is in that bridge? I would like you to just expatiate to individuals, whatever it may be, in the hopes that they would deliver. Where is that bridge? Because if you give me a contract to do, it's no longer government. Government has awarded the contract. It's me. How are we holding those people accountable?
Good. You see, in terms of that, they need access. So the town hall meeting for our elected leaders. So you can't just go and put rope for maybe like a senator now or your House of Rep now to come and hold a town hall meeting with two people. You know, it's not possible. But it is from the government, it is from the leadership that they will decide, hey, let's go and see this community and have a town hall meeting with them, because we've already been their leader and leadership is for all. So what do they need so that I can come and give them this? Then it is the community that they will write. They sit down, all of them will sit down, write. Maybe everybody will be bringing their own opinion. Maybe women's now, most women are mostly vulnerable at the grassroots communities in terms of accessing these basic amenities like primary health care and water. You could imagine that you go to a community in Abuja here, they don't even have single water, they don't have health system, they don't have road, they don't have a lot of things, they don't have it in that place. So if these people can go to this community and hold them and say, hey, I have a town hall meeting with them, they will be the one to even say, okay, of course things will change. So the order of your questions in terms of contract awarding, it is very funny that if you're a leader, you begin to award contract to your friends, your family people, and maybe people that that you are trying to bring out of poverty. That is most perspective that people have in the leadership. Let me give these guys this contract of 10 million naira so that he will at least let you have 5 million naira and chop. That is the problem that Nigerians have. But if you award a contract for someone that is really ready to work, not until when they disburse the money for him, he will use his own fund and work. Then after that, the government will pay it. And that is how it's supposed.
Some people don't have the money to. And I think, because I know that I have friends who are contractors, and then initially, they will get maybe 65%, 70% mobilization. They go do the job, and then they don't, after that, they get paid. You also find contractors who actually do execute the jobs, and then eventually they don't get paid. They take years, next administration comes, you're still pursuing
the payment.
And then you also have, in the same vein in Nigeria, where before you're even awarded a job, certain officials will tell you, give me my kickback. When you give me my own, then I award the job. So it's a complicated case when you're talking about budgets and contracts in Nigeria, what's gone and what we have now. Let's explore insecurity. There is a high shortage of food in Nigeria. Yes. What's the figure, Joy, of out-of-school children that are hungry? I think
you're mentioning two different statistics.
I know that I'm confused.
Okay, I think we have 22 million out-of-school children.
Out-of-school children.
And then we have 140 million multi-dimensionally poor people.
1.2 million multi-dimensionally poor Nigerians. Now, I added the school feeding program. I added the poor people in Nigeria because food, even we that were not multidimensional, are crying about the high cost of things in the market. Before President Muhammadu Buhari came in, a bag of rice was roughly about 12,000, 16,000, and that was foreign rice. As we see presently, a bag of rice goes for a minimum of 40,000 and above, depends on the brand you're buying and then where you're buying. So feeding is difficult for Nigerians. Salaries have not been increased to the level where the public servants is commensurate with the market expenditure. A lot of people are hungry. Quite a number of people, you also pointed out, you want us to create, you're looking at areas where we can create jobs. But insecurity has had a ripple effect in Nigeria. A lot of farmers can't go to the farm because they're having clashes with bandits who come there, and then either they're grabbing land. Even some cattle herders have issues with bandits that come to rustle their cattle off them. So it's affecting food generation. What would your expectations be to the new incoming administration if they're to tackle insecurity as topmost priority?
Well, it's very sad to have experienced a lot of things and maybe see it too. Me, I've seen insecurity in my own life. I've seen a lot of challenges past time, maybe in the past government. And well, our cry here, and it's most sad that in Abuja here, there are insecurity in some part of FCT. It's only in the city town you don't even hear about this. A lot of things you mentioned, that maybe farmer clash, maybe farmer can't go to the farm. Yeah. In my local government, people are being deprived. People sit down at home now, their crops have been spoiled, their crops have been damaged.
Are you from the
because
FCT?
I'm from
Yes.
the FCT,
Okay.
I'm Barry.
So we're actually speaking to, like
Yeah,
we say, a son of the soil.
Yes, so you are my tenant. So I'm the landlord here.
Okay,
So
good.
in case you don't know.
Now we know.
So you see the tears on our parents' eyes at
Yes.
that local government or maybe at that vicinity. You'll be able to sit down and think, is this FCT? Why is this happening in Abuja here? I thought they see there's maximum security in Abuja here. Why is insecurity in Abuja here? You see in Kwale local government, a case happened last month that they kidnapped 32 people. 32 people were kidnapped in Kwale. Where did they take them to? What happened? What was the cause of all those insecurity? All is because of lack of job. All is because of poverty. All is because of corruptions that causes this. If there's no corruption in the country, there won't be all this kind of people. Won't have time to join this kind of bad peoples, to do all this kind of sort of things. But you just mentioned that we have multi-millions poverty in the country here. Could you are saying that Nigerian as the giant of Africa having this figure? What happened to the giant? Why is the giant of Africa in deep down shit like this? So this is so disturbing that if we did not take drastic actions on this, it's going to be more worse. Because people will take an advantage and opportunity to get inflected, penetrate into the systems and destroy more people at the grassroots.
Yeah, so what would you expect the new government to do?
What I expect, just the way I said.
Especially since you're a resident, I mean, like you said, we're tenants in your space. The FCT is the federal capital. And then I know for a fact that FCT is relatively safer than quite a number of states in Nigeria. There are other states, Benue, our neighbor, Kaduna, our neighbor.
Even Niger.
I may
our
slightly
neighbor.
disagree with you
Go
on
ahead.
that. Where you are saying it's safe. No, FCT is not safe.
Relatively safe if you're
Safer
comparing
than
if you're comparing FCT to
Kaduna.
It's the same.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
the
come
It's
on.
because you just carry your car and go to Kuje, come back, let me see.
Okay, you're the
Is it that dire? Is the situation that bad?
Yes, that's what we are calling on the government, on the new government, to look into this aspect, to make sure that it take everybody along to reduce this. If everybody is inclusive in the government, insecurity will definitely be reduced. You're talking of Benue, you're talking of Kaduna, you're talking of maybe
Niger,
Niger states,
Nasarawa, and all these states
Nasarawa
are
states.
borderlines. I know there were once or
So-
two clashes in Buhari, and we share a lot of
boundary
bordering
states.
states.
Buhari
Yes.
is Kaduna states. They're still part of the Niger
Still part
states.
of Niger, yes.
Kogi states in Abaji, Nasarawa in Kuje, the same Nasarawa, the same Karu, all those places. No, and you are saying it's relatively safe. No, it's the same. It's because you have not been around it. I'm just telling you now so that you will know that it's the same, and we just need to tackle this insecurity in that aspect. Our people can't sleep. They'll just enter into a community and just chase everybody away, and there's nothing we can do in Abuja here.
Okay, I'm just hearing this, so I thought it was safer, but you're saying...
It's because you people don't come down to that side that they call Abuja too.
Right.
So if you come, you will see. Or maybe if you just hear it, you will see. But
How can we-
right. I mean,
as an indigene, what would be your suggestion? Like, we need to tackle this. If not, it will spill over. Like you said, we don't know. We're in the safety of...
and we're at the mercy of papers that have not reported it as you have mentioned. Or rather, we are the... yeah. So what would you say to the administration?
We have been calling on government for them to take us along, for them to carry us along in terms of leadership aspect. The government came, the past government came, there was no representative of FCT at the FEC. And you just bring somebody to come and lead, or like Minister of FCT now to come and take the affair of FCT that doesn't even know some communities. Imagine insecurity happen, a report go to the minister's table now. Hey, there was a kidnap, so things. He's supposed, as a minister, leave his seat and go to that place and just visit the community so that they will know that, yes, we are part of the government. We are part of this leadership.
Is it because he's a minister of the FCT? Have governors in other states been doing the same?
That is what they're supposed to do.
Like, yeah,
a leader doesn't supposed to sit down in one place and just receive the feedback and just let it go.
So what happens to all the other people who work with this leader to ensure? Because he's coming to that place necessarily, might send a reverberate that he cares, but it doesn't do anything much if security is not revamped or enforced in that area. So what happens to the many people around him? Are these reports really getting to the minister?
Well, I can't say that, because most time, if you look at the ministers, people that is trying to work with, you may not necessarily see people from this FCC inside the cabinet well. But if a report comes in, if we know somebody's there, I'm a native of FCT, if I know somebody's there, I'll call this person, hey, this is what happened. Please tell your minister that this is what happened. Several times I've been calling, telling them this is what is happening. And
not much is done.
Nothing is done. Imagine.
So we have renewed hope now.
Yes, I think it's a general
imagine what happened in Kuje,
not just
Kuje prison.
That's why I say I think it's a general constraint in terms of security or security ineptitude, not just for the FCT but for the country in general. There are people that have look at our killing. The other day we said how many people were kidnapped in Kaduna. So insecurity in Nigeria has over the years gotten worse, and then it's something. But let's move away from insecurity.
So you are talking of where there's no food in Nigeria. Nigeria have food though.
We have.
Nigeria can get plenty food.
But people are hungry.
Now they make ourselves they're hungry.
Why do you say that?
We are farmers. There is nothing you will just plant in this country that it will not germinate. It will not bring out. Nothing. And if I travel around the country, I see different parts of the countries, different crops growing in. So why are we still in this aspect? One is because of leadership management. In terms of agriculture, if there is people that manage this agricultural system well, a lot of things we reduced. Maybe in terms of the food, you are saying, when COVID-19 came, we know that Nigeria was having food now stored. Food were everywhere that is being exposed. People were just packaging food. And people were hungry before the COVID-19. But when it came and we see exposed of how food was being stored and wasted, some maggot and some spoiled, there was not enough food in the market. The government would just go and buy all these things from the farmer and store it, saying that they are storing for the rainy day, or maybe for the dry season time, for they will just take it. And this is not having effect on the citizens. And if it is not having effect on the citizens, it causes a lot of disturbance in the community. So we should make sure that everything is available in the market. Let me just enter into this more in terms of fuel. If fuel got 1,000 naira per liter, food will be increased.
Okay.
Absolutely, because the farmer must also pay transportation to take his food.
There's a ripple effect to everything.
Yes,
so if the government will want to make food available, they should turn the fuel to 65 naira per liter.
Right.
Or maybe 30 naira. So that if somebody wants to travel and take his food from maybe 20 kilometers, now you just pay 10 naira. If you pay 10 naira, you just go and see big bowl of guinea corn in the market now. But if you are paying high, you will not even have time to take that to the market. So this is my own point for this government to make this available for the citizens, so that, or maybe people, so that everything will be easy and insecurity, poverty will be tackled.
Let's talk about agriculture, because I like what you're saying. Do you see the youths engaging more this period in agriculture? I know you're a farmer, and it's good, but you have quite a number of Nigerian youths that are not interested in agriculture. So do you expect this incoming administration to focus on agriculture, of course agriculture around safety, and encourage kids, job creation, and you and I know that it's not everybody that will be public servants, because it's not everybody that will be 9 to 5 kind of job. The government can afford it. So we have to look outside the box, think outside the box to create jobs. And several administrations have encouraged agriculture as a way forward, where we can even do exports with agriculture. But the Nigerian youth still seems to think, quite a number of Nigerian youths still think it's a slow way of making money. It's a very hard way of making money. So what would be, you know, if you could talk to president in a few hours. So because if we talk to president
elect now.
Yes, you see the president elect. So if you talk to the president in a few hours and say, look, these are my visions for agriculture and youth empowerment, what would be your thoughts?
Well, if you're talking of agriculture is a very, 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 let me just put it, beautiful space to go in to save the country. Okay. There is no country that can just stand without agriculture.
Okay.
Any country standing today is because they have food, and food reduces a lot of things in the countries. So we have technology, we have mechanized farming systems, we have innovations in agriculture, we have a lot of new discovery going on in the agricultural line aspect. If we put this into a rightful use, we will be able to tackle agricultural problem in Nigeria. Now, let's assume now, I was using my hand before to farm. Heaps, I use hoe and farm in Abuja here. I'm a farmer. I come from where they farm. So I was using my hand to farm. And this era, because of the kind of processed food I take, the kind of a lot of things I take, I may not have that kind of same energy I was having using natural food to take, to do that farm system. So thinking on how to use innovations to make availability of all this to the farmers. In FCT here, I think there's a project called Fadama 2, and this Fadama 2 is to provide agricultural materials in all aspects to rural farming people, so that they provide machines, tractors for them to farm. They provide them with grinding machines for them to use for their businesses and other things. After you farm, use your grinding machine, a lot of process. Before, I used to use hand to peel my corn. Okay. We have machines now that if you just put it inside,
it just peel it out.
Peel it out. Okay. So these are innovations that if you have much of this available for the farmers, a lot of food will be produced because they will be providing it in a large quantity. Okay. When I use my hand to farm, it's going to be just small. It's not even really like 1 hectare. But if I use machines to farm, it will be more than 20 hectares of land.
Exactly.
So if this government wants to boost in the agricultural system, make times of available materials in this mechanized farming systems for these people, a lot of things will be easy and things will go smoothly in agricultural aspect.
Okay, good. Before we let you go, we have a few more minutes. Let's talk about the health sector. I know, especially the primary health sector in the rural areas, places that you say we don't go to. I know they have certain health needs. You know, what did you say?
Well safe.
Well safe. So good. So I can imagine, because sometimes until you get to those places, you really don't see, you really can't tell. But I know on a general, as a country, our health indices is one of the lowest in the world. We need to step it up a lot, and then I know that's another aspect that people will be looking at the, you know, the new incoming government. There's nothing new. It's either new government or incoming government. So the incoming government in a couple of hours. I think just 1 more hour, then we have a president-elect. If I have a president, a substantive president, what would be your message to him if we have to look at the health sector, especially primary health care, rural settlement health care?
Let me just say this. Even though I know it may not be nice, but if him as a president can go to primary health care and take treatment, that would be best.
I think that summarizes it. Okay, because that means what does that mean? It
means that there is a lot of changes at the primary health care in the grassroots.
Right.
In Zuba here, I will mention the name Zuba here, a woman gave birth trying to go to primary health care on the road. Because she was coming back. She went to at 1 a.m. in the night when no hospital around there. There was no even, the general hospital at that time wasn't good functioning. The only hospital they have is a specialist, which is very far away in Gobalada, Zuba. So primary health care, they rush these persons to this hospital so that they can have a safe delivery. But they go there, the place was locked, abandoned, no staff. So even if they want, they try the possible, they have tried to open the place so that they can just give her the bed and just sit, just have this in. They could not.
So even the basic thing, nobody was there at all.
Was there.
That's sad.
So you should know how bad it is. There was a project we carry out as of early this year on in budget accountability in healthcare system. We discover here over 100 poor and dilapidated primary healthcare in FCT. In FCT. Some community doesn't even have primary healthcare.
Wow.
Some, if you just go Moody, after the pictures in my phone, I will just share it with you if you need it. You will see with your own eye that nothing is there. Very poor, dilapidated, abandoned, no staff, nothing. A community of more than 1,500 citizen people living there. How do you expect them to take treatment on this? Well, that is just so bad and sad on that aspect. But if this government wants to focus on healthcare, there should be an accountability.
Okay.
If you have disbursed a fund for construction of primary health care, renovation of primary health care, purchase of equipment for facility, so amount, let it be done for these people. If you can be able to monitor this fund that you disburse for these people, people will work.
Exactly.
But if you don't say you just use a pen and budget and you don't do anything, nobody will work.
And yet you've had representatives in the FCT. You have a senator, you have a House of Rep member, and what have they been doing over the years?
It's so sad that they cannot even go down to this place and just hear the cry of these people. Very, very sad on that.
Garba Abdullahi, I mean, you have really, well, we still have renewed hope, but you have also shown us how bad the situation is and what, and the kind of work that has to be done.
Yes.
And I just hope you will find a way to reach the new, members, political actors around the new administration to ensure the work is indeed done. Because
you will reach them.
Thank you very much.
Me, I want to become a farmer. So I think maybe that's what I want. I want to start farming. Yes, I want to do something.
I don't see. Do you see her really tilling?
Everybody is a farmer.
But can you picture
But
her
I do
tilling?
too. I have a little farm in my house. I grow ugu. I grow curry leaves. I grow.
That's why you are taking vitamins and minerals.
In Chamu, in my compound, I grow. Yes, I planted yam. I don't know if it will grow.
It will grow. Yeah.
You think it would?
Yes, it will grow.
I hope I don't kill it though.
It will.
So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We've been talking with Garba Abdullahi. He's the FCT Project Tracking Officer of Budgets. Many thanks for being on ASO Morning.
You're welcome.